Well, hello and welcome to this midday market mood check with me, Nandita, Khemka, and my colleague Karunya Rao. Karunya, given the kind of global cues that we are working with, we're doing pretty well because we are hovering above that 18,100 mark. Come off the day's low.
We have recovered actually.
Yeah, we did manage to come off the day's low, and what's heartening is the fact that even though most of the sectoral indices are in the red, it's the energy pack that is holding out, and if you look at some of the top movers on the index, most of them are from the energy basket, as I mentioned. ONGC, BPCL are some of the counters that are doing well.
Yeah, but I also want to flag off how insurance sectors continue to be resilient in the face of overall weakness or weak mood in the market.
Sure.
Because we've seen this for the last couple of weeks now. Every time the market has been weak, the bounce back in the life insurance sector, that has sustained. Even if you look at the index today, HDFC Life up 1.5%. You have SBI Life as well, more than 1% up for that one. Even HDFC Bank is doing okay. So is
HDFC Twins. In fact, I think both are doing pretty well today as well.
Yes, both are pretty much in the green. But I mean, like you said, it is relatively good what we are witnessing right now vis-a-vis what kind of a handover we received yesterday. But again, we're still pretty much hovering around that flat line.
It's
with
the weekly expiry as well,
exactly.
So there is a bit of volatility as well going on in the markets.
But I want to flag off Adani Enterprises, the big stock of the day, and of course we'll be getting you more updates from the conference later today. But Adani Enterprises FPO has been the cynosure of all eyes. Today the stock has cracked quite a bit, 4.5–5% on the downside. Now, if we look at the floor price, 3,112 rupees a piece. Now, in the cap for the FPO has been at 32.76 rupees a piece, but retail investors will of course be getting a 64 rupees discount.
It's at a 13% discount to yesterday's close price.
Yeah, it is. Right. And it could actually continue to languish, perhaps, given the response and the chatter that is going on there in the market, wherein, you know, amid all that is transpiring, Adani looking to raise 20,000 crores via FPO. I mean, is it a good time? Time will only tell, I guess.
FPO, by the way, opens on the 27th of January and closes on the 31st of January. Among the other movers, we saw HUL had run up quite a bit ahead of the earnings. Earnings are slated to come out today, but today it's under pressure. And when you talk about the earnings, revenue growth will be is expected to be around the double-digit growth, in fact, and volumes are expected to grow around somewhere around 5 to 6%.
But it's only the profitability, the margins, which are likely to be dented.
Yeah, because of inflationary pressures, even though we've cooled off below that 6% mark when it comes to inflation. However, FMCG giants aren't really out of the woods yet when it comes to margins.
And there's only so much price hikes they can take to offset that impact.
Given the fact that rural demand still, the recovery in rural demand still remains sluggish, so that management commentary on how the demand is shaping up on the rural front is something that the street will be watching out for.
And not just HUL but Asian Paints as well.
Right. And the volume growth there as well, the street is working with some around 5 to 6% volume growth for the quarter gone by. Again, here the management commentary on how it plans to tackle competition is something that will be watched out for, given the Grasim's announcement of the capex when it comes to their paints business, right? So that is something that will be watched out for. When you look at the broader end of the markets today, they are underperforming the benchmarks, if I'm not mistaken. Some of the movers are Rallis. It is reacting to its disappointing earnings. It saw somewhere around 40% drop in its profit.
But on the flip side, you have earnings candidates persistent, which is quite persistent in the face of all the weakness and quite resilient in the face of weakness.
20%
Absolutely.
profit
so
growth.
The street is rewarding the numbers, but what the street is not impressed with is IndusInd Bank's numbers. And you know, they've seen a decent uptake. Their profit jumped almost 69–70%. They've seen a fall in provisions, but improvement in NIMs also. But the street doesn't look very happy. It's one of the top losers right now.
That's true. Karunya, I think it's a weakness in the consumer banking is something that has been flagged off by brokerages, even though they have maintained a positive stance on the stock per se. Another counter that's not doing too well is Titan. It has been downgraded by UBS, and because of that, it's losing sheen in today's session. So all in all, we are not doing that badly, given the kind of global cues that we are working with. But it remains to be seen whether or not we maintain these levels by the end of the day.
And whether the needle can actually move towards the latter part of the session, because that has really been the trend. Because things are lackluster or going, you know, in one direction up until say 12, 1-ish, and then in the last hours of the trading session, especially weekly expiry that is today. there could be some action on either side. Right now, we are exactly
yesterday
at the
was
flat
a one-off, I guess, because we managed to hold on to the gains and end the day in the green. So how the markets shape up in the second half of the day is something we'll be watching out for. But
and
of course,
HUL earnings, of course, we'll be getting you the coverage of the management commentary and expert analysis. So stay tuned for that. But I think pretty much for now, lackluster market is all we have.
Yeah, and we will of course be watching out for how we end the day on the Nifty as well. So, well, with that, it's a wrap on this midday market mood check. But for all your market action as well as other financial news, stay tuned to Moneycontrol.
1st February 2023, the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will present the last full union budget before 2024 elections. India's most awaited financial event comes in the midst of global slowdown, inflation, liquidity tightening, geopolitical tensions, and re-emergence of COVID-19. Will India look to fire up its manufacturing? Will India build a moat against global uncertainties? What will the budget have for the middle class? Watch the complete coverage of Budget 2023. Real-time analysis, expert takes all day on Moneycontrol. Log on to www.moneycontrol.com for more.